Hi everyone, it's Bob here from Beta Catalyst Consulting. Beta Catalyst is about enabling businesses to be the change that we want to see in the world. And who better to do that right now than plant-based businesses. Plant-based businesses create a high social impact, both for people, the planet, as well as the animals. So that's a key area of focus, both for small, medium and large, through consulting and speaking and business coaching. As the year comes to an end, we want to focus on what were the top highlights for the years, both in Australia, locally, as well as globally. Okay, globally, what's number one, without a doubt, is Beyond Meat. The launch of Beyond Meat in the US, which opened up at like $25 a share, then went up to 225 USD a share, lit a fire under the industry, under capitalists, and under all money and all major industry to go, what's happening in the plant-based meat. So well done, Beyond Meat. And together with that, they also enabled fast food outlets to have plant-based options. So Kentucky Fried Chicken, Subway in the US, Taco Bell, and many different outlets, names that I don't know because there are many different American chains, have started with Beyond Meat as an option now, as a plant-based option, which is fantastic. On the other side, my second competitor to Beyond is also Impossible. All of this is still number one. Impossible's launched at Burger King with the Rebel Whopper. The beauty of the Rebel Whopper is big budget marketing as putting Rebel next to Whopper to shift the game in regards to your rebellious to now move away from meat, which I think is fantastic. I think it's much needed. Well, there goes this piece of paper. Oh, flies through. Much needed in this sphere. And number three, all within this, is Omnipork with David Yung in Hong Kong. So David did something called Green Common, which is a not-for-profit, similar to V-Stars, the community I founded, where it's about educating people on why we need to eat more plant-based. And interestingly, now he realized he needs a product, and it's created Omnipork, which is a plant-based pork. And with the swine flu, which is happening in China, it's much needed, and people are actively moving away from it. So that's the number one. Number two in the globe are ecosystem builders. And by that, I mean those who are encouraging the plant-based scene right across industries, and not just startups, but everywhere. And so three names come to mind. One is ProVeg out of Europe. Sebastian, Melanie Joy, Tobias, Jasmine, and all those who have taken part in creating ProVeg is making a significant contribution in Europe to bring about a more plant-based world. And in the US, you have Good Food Institute, who's working with meat companies, who's working, again, similar to ProVeg, right across the industry, whether it's cell-based or plant-based, to eliminate animals from the food system effectively. And in Singapore, the closest to our region, we have Centre for the Responsible Future, where I attended the Disruption in Food Summit. Again, they're playing their role within the Singapore and the Southeast Asian belt. Now, the beauty of these organizations is that they are helping all levels of businesses, from the largest players to the smallest, to bring about and to activate a more plant-based in their food system, which has a huge impact for the ecology, from a sustainability perspective, as well as the health of the people. Number three is the Lancet Report, which is commissioned out of Europe. And this is where Lancet, being a medical journal, it was 37 scientists, health professionals, and medical doctors coming together to see what our diet would be like by 2050 to keep us healthy and without depleting the planetary resources. And they came up with recommendations. The recommendations are significant, and it's not all about going vegan. However, it's about significantly reducing our current meat consumption and seafood consumption. And how we take in those proteins, for example. So that's going to reverberate right through the medical fraternity over the number of years, as well as institutions and large industry. So that's definitely number three. Number four, Shiok Meats and cell-based meats. So not just about, we've the news is all about cattle and red meat, and also factory farming. But also on the other spectrum is seafood. Now, seafood, industrial farming has overtaken how we take seafood from the oceans. So we're actually now doing farming versus actually removing seafood from the oceans. Whilst that sounds better, what goes into that is found to be quite toxic in many cases, in different parts of the world. So Shiok Meats, started by Sandhya and Kai from Singapore, who I happen to meet, is all about creating cell-based prawns, and then probably eventually seafood. So uh, that's the next evolution, and they were the first to be accepted into Y Combinator, which is a startup tech incubator. So if you don't know who Y Combinator are, think of Airbnb or Dropbox. So these are the types of organizations. That's my little one screaming. Hi. She wants to say hello. So, yes, darling. Yeah, it's water. That's beautiful. Um, on the same as that, I'd like to congratulate Maiko de Vandermeer for joining the plant-based fish revolution. He's the former CEO of a seafood business in Europe, but now he's joined the new wave of plant-based fish. So this is hugely encouraging to show that all these experts and all these top guns who are in their space of in the fisheries industry or the meat industry are now moving to plant-based or cell-based, which is fantastic. So that's number 4. And finally, number 5, I'm being agnostic here, is Tyson. I've just dropped something. Tyson and Mantiqueira. Tyson is one of the largest meat companies in the world, but they also invested in Beyond Meat. They've exited that now, but they've launched a Big Idea Ventures, a fund of $50 million with Temasek Holdings, which is the Singapore investment arm, in regards to investing in alternate protein sources. The other option, the other business is Mantiqueira, which is the largest egg producer in Brazil, coming out with plant-based egg as a replacement to their normal egg. Now, why is that relevant? Because it's industry, it's not binary, meaning vegan or plant-based versus meat. Whilst some see it that way, it's about the largest players can shift to plant-based or can encourage plant-based at a much larger scale than the small businesses. So Mantiqueira is an example of that, and going back to building the ecosystem, they worked with Good Food Institute to come up with a solution for them. So these are the top highlights, both locally in Australia as well as globally, which I've seen for 2019. And I'm hugely encouraged. I know there's a lot of sour news going around with the droughts in Australia and the destruction of our forests, and as well as the Amazon globally. But there's hope. There's hope that people are seeing that we could eat the way we used to, but with different food choices. And the sooner businesses adopt to the change, and we could live in a way that's in more harmony with the earth. I look forward to speaking to you and connecting with you in 2020 if we haven't connected already, and let's make the change happen.